Hey everyone, it's VaultFox, and if you're new here, which you probably are new here because this is a brand new channel, I primarily make cosplays and costumes and tutorials on those costumes over on my other YouTube channel. And while I love talking about cosplay and all that, I have a lot of other hobbies and things that I really enjoy talking about. After going to PAX East this past year, which was, God, 2 weeks ago already, which is crazy to think about, I got this huge surge of inspiration and motivation to just finally buckle down and make a channel dedicated to my video game collecting, figure collecting, and stuff like that. I love playing video games and just kind of like talking about my experiences going through them, and a lot of that stuff just doesn't really correlate back to cosplay on my other channel. I feel like I collect like a mishmash of a lot of different things, but I primarily really enjoy handheld gaming. So today I thought it would be appropriate to kind of show you my 3DS collection, which this isn't everything, but this is all that I can pick up with two of my hands here. And I have a weird history with the 2DS and the 3DS that I'll like briefly touch on. The original DS, that was in 2004 and I was in high school, and I was not really gaming in high school because I was a band kid, I was a band dork, and I was just preoccupied with a lot of other extracurriculars while I was in school. So I didn't ever pick this up whenever it came out. Whenever I met my husband, well, he was my boyfriend at the time, but whenever I met him, he really wanted a DS Lite. Like every single time we went to Best Buy, he was always like, oh my God, I really want a Nintendo DS and whatever. And I got it in my head that I was going to go buy him one for his birthday. So I ended up saving up some money, buying it. I think I got him a game or two. So I never got my own DS, but I was always playing my husband's. I ended up starting to play like the Brain Age games on there, Nintendogs and stuff like that. And I was kind of really having a lot of fun with that. But whenever I went to PAX East in 2015, which was my very first convention, very first anything PAX related, I saw a lot of people on the floor like playing 3DSs and talking about getting street passes and stuff like that. And even my friend Teresa had I think she had like the original like 3DS or whatever, like the smaller version. I remember she was playing Fire Emblem Awakening and I was like, ooh, this looks like a lot of fun. So then whenever we got back from PAX East, I ended up buying a 3DS as well as Fire Emblem Awakening, and I think I also bought Pokemon Omega Sapphire. Oh my God, I fell in love with them. But the reason I'm saying that is because I no longer have that 3DS or those original games, because I want to say in like 2017 or something, I ended up selling everything. I fully regret it. I sold my original 3DS, I sold all my original games. And so this is like kind of the product of me, you know, going around and repurchasing my collection, or the collection that I would want to have had. So enough of me talking, let me actually just get into the games and the systems that I have, because I just really want to share them with you guys. And this is in no particular order other than I am going to end the video with like my collector's editions and my more rare stuff, I guess you could say. But the first game that I have is Star Fox 64. I love this game. I played the original Star Fox 64 on the N64 whenever I was a child, and it was one of the only games that I ever beat. I think I beat Star Fox 64 and Yoshi's Story, but of course I love Star Fox because I love Fox. That's what originally got me into this game, but it's such a fun little classic game and I absolutely love that I can play it on the go on the 3DS. The next thing that I have is a game that I actually haven't played but I hear really good things about, and that is The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. Now this game, I'm not really a Zelda person, like please don't come for me, but I got this game because apparently it is one of those things where it's 3D, like a top-down kind of game, but you can also go into walls and then you become like a 2D platformer. I really need to get on this game and actually play it, but it's one of those games that I gotta be in the mood for. Next up is a game that I might play, but also this is really for my husband. This is Metroid: Samus Returns. I want to love Metroid games. I want to like them because I love Samus. I love her design. I would love to cosplay her one day, or at least just make the helmet, but I'm just not good at these games, guys. I'm not good at Metroid games, so maybe I'm just going to, you know, enjoy these from afar, but I have it if I ever want to attempt playing it. I have started playing Metroid Prime on the Nintendo Switch. I'm terrible at it, guys. The next game that I have, I really enjoy, and that is Kirby Planet Robobot. This is a really fun Kirby game. I haven't beaten it, but I've played like a couple of the first levels and so. And in this game, Kirby has like a exoskeleton suit. He has kind of like I almost call it a mech suit, and it adds like a lot of different gameplay elements to it than just, you know, sucking up enemies and all that stuff. And I love Kirby, but I really need to get back to this game because it was a lot of fun whenever I started playing it. And I guess I should mention, a lot of these games I bought whenever the Nintendo Nintendo eShop was first announced to be closed, like not the recent mad dash to get everything off the eShop, but whenever it was first initially announced to be closed, I started really starting to go and look for more of these games because I knew that the prices would go up. And this was one of the first games that I picked up after I heard about that closure happening, and I was not steered wrong by that game. It's a lot of fun. Next up is Tetris Ultimate. Now, I haven't played this on the DS yet, but it's, you know, it's Tetris. What else is there to really say about that? Next up, I guess this should have been with my other Kirby game, but it's Kirby Triple Deluxe. Now, I haven't played this game yet. It's actually still in the shrink wrap from whenever I bought it, like maybe a year or so ago, and I've heard really good things about it, so yeah, another Kirby game. Next up is actually a Pokemon game, which I don't like, but I still have it in my collection. It's Pokemon Ultra Moon. I played Pokemon Sun and Moon whenever they first came out, and I don't know what it was, but I didn't like it at the time. I think I was really annoyed with one of the main characters. She had like a hat on, and I just really wasn't vibing with like the conversations and the narrative or whatever was going on. I know that Pokemon games aren't really known for their narrative or their story, but I just wasn't having a lot of fun with it. With like the Ultra Moon, I know that this is like expanded upon the original Moon game. Maybe it's a little bit better, or maybe my tastes have changed and I'll like it. And in that same vein, I have Pokemon Omega Ruby, and the reason I got Omega Ruby is because, like I mentioned earlier, I originally had Alpha Sapphire. And in a complete 180 from this game, I loved Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby. I absolutely ate up every single thing in that original Alpha Sapphire run. I think I had over like 100 hours or something ridiculous in that game. There was something about it that I just really, really liked. So I decided to get Omega Ruby because I had already played Alpha Sapphire. But yeah, this is one that I definitely want to get back and do another playthrough of because I just had so much fun with it. Next up is a random one that I've sunk a lot of hours into whenever I had my original 3DS, and that is Final Fantasy Explorers. Now, at the time that I played this game, I didn't understand the formula and why I liked it, but now it makes so much more sense that I really enjoy games like Monster Hunter and that kind of gameplay loop, because that's really what this game is. It's a lot of like open world wandering, and you basically fight these, you know, monsters and stuff, but from Final Fantasy world. And I remember, again, this was another game that I sunk so many hours into. It was so much fun. Curious if there's even people still on like internet co-op for this. I don't even know if it's still supported, but it was a lot of fun when I played it. And again, another one of those ones I just got to get back to. Speaking of Monster Hunter, I do have Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. I have not played this one, but it's not really for lack of wanting to. It's just the fact that I have other Monster Hunter games that are more modern and easier for me to play, like Monster Hunter World. I play that on my Steam Deck. And in that same vein, I don't have a physical version of it. I do have Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, and that one is a lot of fun. I remember when I had my first 3DS, I downloaded the demo of Monster Hunter 4 on it, and I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to be doing in this game? I didn't understand anything. They don't explain anything to you. There's something about that gameplay loop of Monster Hunter games that I just absolutely love and keep coming back for more. Like whenever Monster Hunter Rise came out on Switch, I think I played it for 20 hours straight that weekend. I haven't picked it up since, but I feel like I got my money's worth out of the game because I don't know, I just love hunting monsters, and it's a really fun franchise. It's a little bit hard to get into, but I would say with like Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise, it's a lot easier to get into if you are interested in that. Speaking of Monster Hunter, I have the Monster Hunter Stories game on 3DS, and this is another game that I haven't yet played yet. Kind of like a mashup of Pokemon meets Monster Hunter. You get to like befriend the monsters instead of, you know, killing them for your armor. So it's an interesting concept, and I've heard good things about it, just haven't had the time to play it yet. Next up is one that I don't have a box for, sadly, but it is Fantasy Life, and it's in like a little CD case here. I gotta get the actual case off of like eBay or something. I actually started playing Fantasy Life whenever we were at PAX, and I really enjoyed it. It's like a life sim. You can choose between, I want to say like 12 different jobs or something like that. Kind of do like a fantasy life sim where you're like being a carpenter. I think I'm a carpenter or a woodworker or something. I just really enjoy it. It's really chill. You just do typical life sim activities. Like if you're the woodworker, you go out and you have to go chop wood, and then you have to go work the wood and stuff like that. This is definitely one that I have to sink more hours into, but it's a lot of fun so far. I already have like 5 hours just from PAX and like the plane rides alone. And this next one, I kind of just have to explain why the heck I got it because it seems silly, but Paddington's Adventures in London. So my husband and I went to London this past January, and it was so much fun. I already miss it so much, and people are going to Star Wars Celebration right now, and it's it's making me miss London so much. As I was looking at the eShop a couple weeks ago before it closed, I noticed this on the eShop, just like Paddington in London. And I was like, that would be kind of cute, you know, like a little nostalgia to just play and be like, oh yeah, I remember going to this street or something like that. And on the eShop, it was 10 bucks. And I was like, I wonder if they have a physical version of this. And I found a physical version on eBay for 10 bucks. So I picked it up, haven't played it yet, but I'm sure it's probably cute, if anything. I'm not really expecting big things from it, but that's a unique addition to my collection, I guess you could say. And then next up, I have two games from a franchise that I really enjoy, and that is Persona Q, the original Persona Q, and then Persona Q2. And these two games are like dungeon crawler type games where you're playing with the Persona 3, Persona 4, and Persona 5 crews. You don't necessarily have to play those three games in order to enjoy these ones, but it does help a little bit for like the inside jokes. Now these two don't have the life sim aspects to them like the other Persona games do. I started both of them, I just, you know, these are like 40 hours each. I haven't had the time to finish them, and I just need to make time to play more games. I think you guys understand that it's just a struggle to be able to like balance work and life and all that and play the games that you want to play. But in addition to that Persona Q2, I do have the Persona Q2 Collector's Edition, which I was really excited to get. I remember purchasing this on Mercari whenever we were at PAX in 2022, and it was so funny because we were at Harpoon, which is close to the convention center, and I was just browsing Mercari, whatever, and I saw this pop up and I was like, oh my god, I have to get it. It was like for a really good price, and little did I know that it was for a really good price because one of the things wasn't included in it that I actually really wanted. The little plush dog here wasn't included, but I ended up finding someone selling the little plush dog on eBay like a couple months later. So now I have the full set and I'm really happy to have this in my collection. I just love Persona games. They're so much fun. They're so ridiculous and such like anime bullshit, but they're a lot of fun. Next up, before I get into like my favorite franchise on the 3DS, Theatrhythm Final Fantasy Curtain Call box. This is actually the collector's edition. It is still sealed. I'm going to probably unseal it and, you know, unbox everything on camera and some b-roll for you, because even though I have this game downloaded digitally on my 3DS, I mean, I kind of want to see what's inside of this box because I've literally never opened it. This is another one of those things that I bought, you know, a year or so ago when they announced the eShop going under. And this game, I put so much freaking time into this game on my original 3DS. Like, this was the game that I played all the time because I love rhythm games, and for some reason, like, what do you mean some reason? It's like because Final Fantasy music is freaking brilliant and I love it. Wish I knew how much time I had spent on this game because there was just so much. I specifically remember there was a DLC song from Final Fantasy XIV, the Ultima song. I only ever played the very first expansion of Final Fantasy XIV, but I played the shit out of that song on this game. They actually came out with this for Nintendo Switch, but I personally really enjoy playing this on the 3DS. I think it's a lot more intuitive on the 3DS and it's just a lot more fun. You can play with a stylus, you can play with a button. Really good game. I would definitely recommend picking this up for 3DS, even if you have it for Nintendo Switch. I think it's just, it plays a lot better in the 3DS. And then next up is one that was 100% fueled by me watching a bunch of 3DS videos before, you know, the eShop closed and all that. But it's this game called Fragrant Story. It is a tactical RPG, and I hear like a mixed bag of things about this game because I think it's like, I don't think it has a lot of gameplay. I think it maybe has 4 hours of gameplay. Mostly got this because it was one of, at the time, it was one of maybe the last 3DS games that were going to come out physically. Now, I don't think that's true anymore. I mean, I'm glad I have it. I do like tactical RPGs. I just haven't gotten around to playing it. I do have some games that I don't have boxes for, if I can find them. Okay, well, I can't find them at the moment, but I'll put some b-roll on the screen. I know that I have Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. My husband bought me that a couple years ago. I also have Super Smash Bros. 3DS, which is actually like weirdly my preferred way to play Super Smash Bros. I know that might be a little controversial, but that's the way I like to play it. I also remember being able to use the 3DS as a controller whenever you're playing it on Wii U, which was really cool. And while I was looking for those cartridges, I remember that I had 2 DS games, and I figured why the heck not just include them because I still play them on my 3DS. But the first one is Animal Crossing Wild World, and this is one that I have played a little bit of, and I really do enjoy it. It's just, it's funny because if you go back and play this game, the villagers and stuff, they're actually kind of like mean, and I kind of miss that. I kind of like how they're a little bit rude in this game. And the other one, which was a gift from my husband many years ago, was Pokemon Soul Silver, which this is like one of my pride and joys in this collection is having this because it's so stupid expensive. Not 100% sure if this is an original case and like the original manual, but I know that the game is legit and I just love it so much. It's such a good game. If you are on the fence about buying Soul Silver or, you know, Heart Gold, I say go for it if it's like a good price. Like don't pay like $200 or something like that. And my battery's going to die, so hold on one moment while I change that. New battery and we're back. In case you didn't know, and also spoilers for this game, I guess, after beating like the 8 gym leaders in this game, after that you go back to Kanto. So you go back to like the Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow area. It's just a really fun way to like play Pokemon Red and Blue again in like really nice color on the DS, and I freaking love it, and I'm so glad that my husband got me this years ago. He got me this game with this lime green Nintendo DS, which I guess I can show you as well because it's part of the collection. I think that this is the like the Cooking Mama special edition. Obviously, if you know anything about me, you know why I have this color DS and why I wanted this specific color, and I'm really glad that I have a DS because I can play Game Boy Advance games even though I don't have any Game Boy Advance games, but I'm working on it. So those are the only DS games that I have. It's just not something that I've really prioritized, I guess, getting stuff for, but it'll grow eventually, I'm sure. And then finally, let's get into my last franchise on the 3DS, and that is a Fire Emblem. I don't know what it is. Actually, I know what it is about Fire Emblem. It's the fact that I can do all this life sim stuff, like with building relationships with different characters. And also, whenever I'm in battles, it's kind of like, I call it anime chess because it really kind of is anime chess in a way. I love games where I can be strategic and I'm given time to really think about what I want to do. These games have like wonderful stories as well as voice acting, and they're just so much fun. If you've never played a Fire Emblem, I definitely recommend starting with Fire Emblem Awakening. This is what got me into Fire Emblem. I remember someone told me that Matt Mercer voices like one of the main characters. He voices Chrom, and at the time I was really big into Fallout 4. I really liked the character McCready, and I was kind of like seeking out anything that Matt Mercer was voice acting in, which nowadays I realize he is literally in everything. Well overdue for a replay for this one, and if I've said that multiple times in this video, then don't worry about it. And this is probably like one of the more controversial Fire Emblem titles is Fire Emblem Fates. I do have Birthright here, and I also have the coveted collector's edition. I bought this last year whenever, again, the eShop was going to close and people were kind of offloading their stuff. So I did get this for a very good price, but it was a bit of money. Fire Emblem Fates did something kind of weird at the time. They did like a Pokemon style kind of release where they had Birthright as well as another version of the game called Conquest, and then there was a third DLC campaign called Revelations, which is a whole other storyline for the game. And the only way for you to get that Revelations DLC was to either buy this that has it actually on the cartridge itself, or you would have to buy Birthright or Conquest, get to like level chapter 6 or something, and then you could buy the DLC. Obviously, now with the eShop being closed, you can't buy it anymore, so that's why a lot of people really want to have this in their collection. And to be honest with you, whenever the eShop closed, that's why I went out and bought Birthright, so that I could go on the eShop and get that, you know, that third DLC, so that I would have it in the event that I ever decide to part ways with this Fates Collector's Edition, because again, wasn't one of my favorite games, but I do like having it. Like, it does make me feel happy knowing that I have it on the cartridge and I could play it whenever I want. But again, it's one of those things, I'm kind of like on the fence. I may give it away, I may not. Before I decide on doing any of that, I am going to play through this game all the way through, and we'll judge it from that if I still want to have it in my collection. Then last but not least, before I quickly show you my 3DS consoles that I have, is Fire Emblem Echoes. And this one, I really enjoy this Fire Emblem one. Again, I only got about 5 hours into it before another game like overtook what I was playing. This is a very good one. This one kind of like flew under the radar because I want to say that this came out like right as the Nintendo Switch came out as well. And this is one of those ones where I am on the lookout for the collector's edition of it. And to like kind of cap this video off, I just thought I would show you my 3DS consoles. Whenever I decided I was going to get into like 3DS collecting and all that stuff, I really wanted the Animal Crossing 3DS. So that's what this one is right here. It kind of looks like a Pop-Tart, but it's got like all the little cute Animal Crossing stuff on it. The only downside is that it was a used machine, which I'm totally fine with, but the trackpad over here, it kind of like disintegrated. It literally disintegrated, and you can still play it using this. It actually doesn't feel all that bad, but it was one of those things where I told myself that I was going to fix it, and it just sat on my shelf not fixed for ever. Do still keep this in my collection because I love it. It was the one that I wanted whenever I actually started playing DS again in 2016 after PAX, and just really glad to have it in my collection. But as for the one that I actually play games on, whenever I show this on screen, you guys aren't going to be surprised what it looks like, but it's this one. It's the lime green edition with some Aries hair on it. I think this was like an Amazon exclusive or something weird. I got this off of somebody on Facebook Marketplace because duh, it's green. This is the one that I want to have to actually play all my games on. And this one actually has, you know, like a working trackpad and all that stuff. And I love it. I mean, what's not to love? Oh, and one more thing that I just want to share because I just really love it. This is the carrying case that I have for my 3DS. It is from Waterfield Designs. I don't think that they make these anymore, sadly, but I love this stupid case. It has 3 little pockets here for, you know, cartridges. It has a zipper on the back that you can put stuff in. I've got like a cleaning cloth in there right now. And of course, the front's green leather. Like, what's not to love here? But yeah, that is my physical 3DS collection. I have many other games on my 3DS itself. If you're interested in me like going through all the digital games that I have, I can definitely do that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be back for some other collection videos. I have a Nintendo Switch one planned, as well as a PS Vita and some other fun stuff. Let me know like some of your favorite 3DS games or things that you think I should add to my collection based on like what I've talked about in this video. And yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye guys!